Hey there, YouTube fam. Welcome to another one of these I'm getting through my WoovIt backlog sort of videos. Big thanks to the publishers, Radalaika Games, for having this game available on WoovIt so that I can try it out. Just gotta wait for this, the loading screen to pass. There we go. Factory Magenta. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons living or dead. Blah, 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 blah. So this is, I believe it's pronounced Baiku. I could very well be wrong though, because it is I believe it's Chinese, and that is not a language that and I don't speak any language from China. But that was interesting. Okay, so this is hundreds of melodies. So we're gonna give it a try. I've only got to know about Li Jiao's death a week ago. That day, as I remembered, was bland and ordinary as usual. Prelude, obituary. I like the style of these. I received a delivery package from Zijin Rehabilitation Hospital. The package was sent by someone with the surname of Ouyang. The person who received the delivery was Jiao's father. The delivery man had already come twice. As no one was home, the package was received on behalf of them by me, the neighbor. The package was wrapped in translucent plastic, revealing a delicately patterned notebook. The notebook looked rather new and probably wasn't used for very long. This notebook probably belonged to Jiayun, I hope I'm saying that right, who could have carelessly left it in the hospital and was sent over by a helpful nurse. Since I'd already received it on behalf of someone, I would have to return it myself, I thought as I went down the stairs and knocked on the door of Jiayun's home. Tuck, 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 tuck. No response was received by my knocking, so I proceeded to ring the old and dull doorbell that was there ever since my primary school days. Still, there was only silence. I knocked even harder on the door, but was again met with silence from the other side. Looks like there really is no one at home. Now that I think of it, it had been quite a while since I lost Jiayun as well as Uncle and Aunt Lee. This was probably due to my staying in school for most of the time and thus didn't come home often. Just as I was about to give it one last shot...
Yo, Xiaosu ah.
Xiaosu. Oh, hi, Granny Dong. The granny who called out to me was my neighbor. Looking at the groceries she was carrying, she had probably just returned from the market.
哎，别敲啦，没人儿。
Oh. Okay, we got voice acting. There's no need to knock, the house is empty. Oh, are they out for today? I just picked up a package that's meant for Uncle Lee. I don't know when they'll be back, though. Granny Dong looked at me full of surprise, making me a little bewildered as well. After a few moments, she seemed to have understood and shook her head.
哦，对了，你住学校，也好久没回来了。跟你说，他们
now I
不在
remember.
了。
You live in school and hasn't been home for a long time. Now let me tell you, they aren't here anymore. That answer left me a little confused. Aren't here anymore? What do you mean by aren't here anymore?
他们搬走了，上个月的事情。
They moved out. It was about 2 months ago. Moved out? Oh, now I see. Weren't they doing just fine? Why did they suddenly move out? I was extremely puzzled. And then I thought, maybe they've gotten a new house and moved over? Granny, where have they moved to? Granny Dong shook her head as she started to look a little bleak.
唉，地址啊，我也没有，走得太急了，招呼也没打。
I don't know their new address. They left in such a hurry that we didn't even have time to say goodbye. I see. Sorry to trouble you. I just received a delivery that's probably meant for Jiayun. The sender may have written the old address by mistake. As soon as I finished my sentence, I heard Granny Dong letting out a soft sigh. Thought it might be, but it was worrying to hear. As I raised my head and looked at her, her gaze looked duller than ever before. After a few seconds of internal struggle, she slowly let out the few words.
小丫头她走了。
The lass, she left. Dun dun dun! Closing my door, I slumped heavily onto the chair. Jiayun has passed on. As much as Granny Dong had tried to phrase it, I immediately understood what she was trying to say. Left? Where else could she have gone? Jiayun, the quiet but adorable girl that I knew, no longer belonged to this world. Jia-yoon was the sole daughter of Uncle Lee who lived below us. She was born a few years after me and was a docile and understanding child. Despite being considerably older than father, Uncle Lee and father had used to study together both locally and abroad. As a result, our families were rather close to each other. The two even went to work together at the Science Institute. I was born earlier than Jia-yoon, therefore it can be considered that I had watched her grow up. To me, whom I happened to be the only son, Jia-yoon was like a sister to me. This got loud. Ever since her birth, Jia-yoon had never been in the best of health. It was norm for her to be admitted to the hospital, take injections as well as medication. Thus, she was always a topic of concern amongst mother and father as well. If we hadn't seen her for a period of time, it could be almost certain she'd been admitted to the hospital again. Father said that Uncle Lee was an honest man, yet in mother's word, this person was suited for his brains being used, but not on behalf of the nation. Jae-yoon's mother seemed to have given up on research and took up the business instead. Probably as a result in her new profession, I did not get to see her as often over the years. Every time I saw her would most likely be due to Jae-yoon being admitted to the hospital again, or that she had just been discharged from it. In fact, this has almost become a gauge with which she determined Jae-yoon's health. On the other hand, Jae-yoon didn't seem to pay too much attention to her health. She'd always obediently and cheerfully stayed by the side of her parents. I heard that Uncle and Aunt Lee had tried all sorts of methods to improve Jae-yoon's condition. These methods ranged from Western to traditional medicine or even unorthodox medicine. Due to the long periods of time spent in the hospital, her body seemed to carry a smell that is found in the hospital. Her hair color also seemed lighter than normal people. Because of her hair color, we used to call her a yellow-haired lass as an inside joke. It might also be due to these factors that she always found it hard to blend in and mix with other kids. Now that I think of it, only one other girl was said to be her cousin, only one older girl who was said to be her cousin was willing to spend time to be with and play with her. She also used to have sleepovers at Jae-yoon's house. Whenever those two were together, Jae-yoon would always look more energetic than usual. Unfortunately, this didn't happen very often. I recall that Jae-yoon's appetite was always small whenever both of our families had meals together. She would be quiet at her seat, gracefully raising her glass to take a sip of water and then slowly putting the glass down. That action had left an impression in me. However, what struck me most about her was how quiet she was. She'd always sit at the side of the window, quietly watching the adults talk with a faint smile on her face. I stayed at home much less frequently after I enrolled into boarding school. As a result, Jae-yoon had slowly slipped off my mind. Even though Mom and Dad still frequently talked about her condition, I grew to care less as time passed. How could I have known just as she slipped off my mind? Jae-yoon left quietly just like that. Quiet like she always was. Sad violin! Mom and Dad being out of the house had allowed me to have a rare break. These two had seemed to have dropped a heavy burden off their shoulders after sending me to boarding school, realizing that life was made so much more enjoyable from not needing to raise their child. Now it's much more common to see them leave the house and to go on holidays. Because of that, I've gained quite a lot of freedom. Fortunately, due to my self-control, I have not gone too wayward. I wasn't in the mood for anything today. As a result, I canceled all my plans so that I could spend some alone time at home. I took a pencil and drew 2 sketches for my homework. However, those sketches turned out to be way below standard. I put down the pencil as waves of hunger again started attacking me. Just as I was about to head for the supermarket, it started pouring outside. It was already 9 p.m. when I looked at the time again. Running out of ideas of things to do, I decided to sleep early today. As I was preparing to sleep, I heard a knock on the door outside. There really is someone at my door. The knocking was loud, but not hurried. It doesn't sound like the security nor the maintenance guy. I look through the peephole on my door. It's a man with a bookish look and wearing a pair of spectacles. However, I don't recognize him for anybody that I know of. He's wearing a gray shirt with his pants hidden from the peephole. A slight awkwardness was upon his face, and his hair, which was wet by the rain, made him look a little languish. Honestly, he didn't look like a bad person, more like the downtrodden bookworm that you hear from legends. Maybe he has something urgent, I thought as I opened the door. Ah. Hello, you are? Is this Mr. Zhao's house? Yes, it is. You are? I'm his son. Are you looking for my father? No, The man seemed like he wanted something, but had difficulty getting it out. My parents won't be home these few days. Is there anything urgent? I can help to convey a message. I see. He looked down in disappointment, but raised his head almost instantly and asked rather loudly, May I ask if you have recently received a delivery? I felt a wave of numbness on my back immediately when I heard that. It's either due to my anticipation or the striking memory of that recent package. Hearing the word delivery instantly filled me with excitement. What kind of delivery are you talking about? It's a delivery that was meant for Mr. Lee, who lived downstairs. I asked that only for confirmation, and the reply was as I have expected. Yes, I have it with me now. You are? Upon hearing my reply, the man let out a long sigh of relief. His initially tense face started to loosen up. That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. He said the same line over and over again in an agitated tone. He seems to be trying to calm himself down by doing that. I stood and looked at him, not knowing what to say. Well, do you want to come in and talk? I let the man into the house. He followed me in without much hesitation. Uh-oh. There was ready-made tea in the house. After receiving a cup of tea from me, he thanked me and put the tea aside. The delivery. Can you show it to me? Hold on for a moment. I walked to the television cabinet and retrieved the package. It had not been touched and was still in good condition. Are you a relative of Mr. Lee? I probed as I thought it was too hasty to simply just give it to him. I am not. However, I do know Lee Jia-yun. This answer surprised me. I paused for a while and asked, You are Jia-yun's... How do I put it? We're friends, I guess. This is undoubtedly an unexpected answer. Jia-yun is younger than me by many years. She shouldn't even be in middle school by now. The man before me is obviously much older than she is. It does not seem appropriate at all for them to be friends. I froze in my spot holding the package, not knowing what to do. The man seemed to understand my thoughts and my concerns. He himself seemed to feel some awkwardness. I know that this may seem a little weird, but please trust me in speaking the truth. The man's expression and tone have led me to believe him. I walk over and put the package on the table with my hand placed over it. The man did not reach for the package. Instead, he stared at the package with mixed emotions. Looks like he already knew what was inside the package. Is this the one? The man nodded his head. That's right, this is Jae-yoon's diary. It was given to her recently as a birthday present by a friend. Diary? Everything was too hasty at the time. Everyone wasn't in the right state of mind, and the diary got left in the hospital as a result. I see. Can you let me see it? Hold on, does Uncle Lee know about this? Yes, however, Mr. and Mrs. Lee are too occupied and worn out from settling Jae-yoon's matters, so I was... Alright, if you're worried, I can leave my identification card with you, but please allow me to have the diary. Oh, no, there's no need for that. I just want to ask, do you know where they have moved to? I do. I've been helping them run errands for Jae-yoon's funeral, so I've been there a few times. It's at Kuling Gate near Tangshang Mountain. The man answered all of my questions without showing any signs of lying or trying to hide something. Thus, I dismissed my suspicions. They moved such a long way from here. Well, the package. Oh, here you go. I put away my hand and passed the package to the man. He stared at it intently upon receiving it from me, then held it close to him as if it was treasure. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Filled with excitement, he took out his pen and paper and started writing. He then passed it to me. I looked at it. It's written in a beautiful font saying, Wei Q. That's probably his name. It's very poetic and suited his appearance. Below the name is a string of numbers. Should be his mobile number. I can't thank you enough for today. This is my contact. I shall take my leave. Will there be anyone home tomorrow? There should be. That's great. Mr. Lee has something that he wants to pass to your family. I will stop by tomorrow to deliver them. No problem. I'll be in tomorrow. As he finished, the man stood up and gave me a nod full of gratitude. He thanked me all the way until he reached the staircase, making me feel a little embarrassed. Such a special person he is. Interesting. As expected, the man came again the next afternoon. Hi there. Sorry for all the trouble last night. It's nothing. Please come in. He dressed the same as yesterday, but looks more vigorous, and the courteous attitude, as always, made me a little nervous. Mr. Lee tasked me to bring this for your parents. Wei Q took out a box of tea leaves and a bag of what seems to be the return gift from attending Jae-yoon's funeral. I took them over and carefully kept them. Sorry for troubling you to come all the way here. Your parents? Oh, they'll only be back next week. I only confirmed this with them last night. Is there anything that you need me to convey to them? There's nothing much. Mr. Lee only asked to send his regards and that they left in a hurry and therefore didn't have time to tell you. After a series of greetings exchanged, we unexpectedly started talking. I'm in the third year of college now. I assume I should be a few years older than you? Yes, I'm only in my second year of high school. All right. Is it okay if I ask about some things? No worries. Ask away. I'm rather concerned about Jae-yoon's incident. I've tried asking my parents, but they were very reluctant in sharing with me. Wei Q's expression started to become complicated upon being asked that. If you don't feel comfortable saying it, then it's fine. I'm just a little curious. It's okay. What's happened is in the past. It's a long story. Actually, Jae-yoon had known me since we were young. I've always treated her like a little sister. However, we have not been in contact for the past 2 years, and suddenly... Therefore, I want to know more about her. Wei Q nodded, his expressions growing a little more dignified. Truth be told, I've only known her for about half a year, but it's just... He seemed to be for a loss of words at describing the matter. He just shook his head continuously. If you are in a hurry, can you please tell me about it? He nodded his head. Alright, where do I begin? Let's start from when you two first met. Well, let's start from that day then. Bear in mind the story is going to take a while to finish. And that is how I got to know about this story. The story about Jae-yoon and the people in her life. The story that happened during her final days. Wrong button. I think that'll be a good spot for a first look. Got the little prologue thing, so if this is interesting to you, this is available on pretty much all consoles thanks to Radalaika. Thank you very much to the publishers and developers for putting this up on WooVit to let me claim. If you guys want to see more of that here on the channel, feel free to leave a comment, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.